China's healthcare is so bad compared to America and the West. That is what I often hear in my YouTube comments. But is it actually true? Healthcare is a fundamental aspect of any and every society and reflects not just the overall well-being of its population, but also the effectiveness of its governance. One of the biggest questions I get is about healthcare in China and how it matches up to the West. Well, having lived in China for 3 years, I've had the opportunity to experience healthcare on numerous occasions now. So let's take a look at how it compares, its differences, and the common misconceptions surrounding it. The first misconception I hear, and I really do not know where this idea has come from, is that healthcare in China is only for the rich, or at least only for a certain subset of the population. Many Westerners seem to believe that to find truly quality healthcare in China, it will only be accessible to the wealthy. While it is true in China, as it is in every other country, that private hospitals can of course be expensive, China's public healthcare system provides affordable care to the general population. A general population, let's not forget, of 1.4 billion people. Of course, China's healthcare system has evolved rapidly over the past few decades, whereas once perhaps it could be claimed that healthcare in China was not at the same level as healthcare in the West. As with many other areas of the country over the past couple of decades, China seems to have completely transformed it. At least that's from my research and talking to people in the know. But has that left it really expensive and costly? Too expensive for the average person? Well, I can only talk from my own personal experience, and this is how my most recent experience went. Now, I paid around 30 RMB, around $4, to be seen at the public hospital the other day. And this wasn't a bad hospital in the middle of nowhere either. No, this was the best hospital for that specific practice of medicine for the related body part in the whole of China, apparently. And it was in the downtown area of the largest city, of course, Shanghai. But is that price affordable to everyone, not just expats? Well, the average salary in Shanghai, according to some online estimates that I've literally just found, is about 13,500 per month. That's RMB. So by spending 30 RMB to be seen by a doctor, is that affordable to the general population? Well, assuming that you don't need an additional service, then I would say that, yeah, it's probably pretty affordable for many people. And that's, of course, not even taking into account whether or not the person has insurance, because many people in China will have healthcare insurance. Of course, healthcare in the US is on a completely different level. You hear Americans all the time criticizing their healthcare system for having high out-of-pocket costs. Even for those with insurance, deductibles and other out-of-pocket expenses can be substantial, leading to significant financial strain. And it's something you hear about all the time. Even politicians attack it or use it as a talking point, to run on. Of course, in the UK, it's well known that we don't pay for healthcare directly, but of course, we pay for it in other ways, indirectly. By some estimates, 40% of all income tax in the UK is spent on healthcare. And even with that 40%, it is poorly run. The NHS gets significant grief from people for the way it operates. And the only solution seems to be to keep throwing more and more money at it. But over here, even without comprehensive insurance, the out-of-pocket expenses for treatments, consultations, and medications are often affordable in China, at least from my own personal experience. Okay, sure, it may be affordable, but I bet it's pretty difficult to get an appointment to see a doctor. You see, that's usually the follow-up that people say when you refute the first points, the first misconception. And in my opinion, it's probably a way for people in the West to cope for having long wait times themselves to see a doctor. But to be honest, that really isn't the case. I mean, my personal experience the other day with getting an appointment was overwhelmingly positive. Appointments are relatively easy to secure, and the wait times are pretty minimal compared to what I was accustomed to in the UK, especially the wait times in the UK right now. The efficiency, I guess, is partly due to the digitization of healthcare services. You see, appointments, prescriptions, even payments can be managed through a single app on your phone, of course, WeChat. So this integration of technology into healthcare has made the entire process much smoother, much more patient friendly. You see, in the UK, you have to call someone at exactly 8 a.m. in the morning as soon as the lines open to try and get an appointment to see the doctor. If you need medicine that you can't buy OTC, over the counter, you have to go physically in person and get permission from the doctor to buy it, who will then give you a piece of paper with their signature on, which you then have to take to a separate place to then, go and buy the medicine. Of course, in China, it does not work like that. Here, you book an appointment slot on your phone through the app, you pay on your phone, you order the medicine on your phone. In America, I'm not 100% sure what the process is like, but I cannot imagine it being this simple and this straightforward as it is over here. If I'm wrong about that, feel free to correct me in the comments. Okay, so maybe the healthcare is affordable, maybe you don't have to wait too long, but I bet the hospitals are dirty. Well, no, actually, they're not. Or at least the hospitals that I have been in have been clean. You see, that's what usually people will say. But here is some footage from the last time I went to a hospital. And of course, it's a hospital, so I'm going to respect people's privacy and not get too much footage. But I hope from the few clips that I did get that you can judge the cleanliness level for yourself. I'm sure this wasn't always the case, and it probably wasn't always like this, but I mean, nowadays, modern China, hospitals seem to be pretty clean. So when comparing the healthcare systems of China, the US, and the UK, several key differences stand out. The US, with its private, market-driven system, offers high-quality care for those who can afford it, but of course leaves many struggling with the financial burden of medical expenses. The UK's NHS, while providing free healthcare, struggles with efficiency and access, leading to long wait times and varying quality of care. China, on the other hand, seems to provide affordable, accessible healthcare for its population while using tech to streamline services. So China's system, while not perfect, represents a balanced approach that combines government oversight with market-driven innovation. The integration of tech in healthcare is something that significantly improves access and efficiency, which is clear to see from my recent visit. Something that both the US and the UK could probably learn from. So while the US may be better in some areas of specialised care, its lack of universal coverage and excessively high costs are significant drawbacks. The UK's NHS, though admirable and really a part of our culture, is struggling to maintain the level of care expected by everyone. I mean, sometimes you have cancer, you're on a wait list for 9 months for an operation. That really shouldn't be how things are. So based on my experiences and observations, I would have to say that so far, China's healthcare, to me, the system stands out as probably the most effective among the three. The combination of affordability, accessibility, and technological integration makes it a model worth considering for other nations. While it is not without its challenges, and I am well aware that the staff in hospitals work tremendously hard, as do staff all across China. China's healthcare for the majority of its population works well. In contrast, the US and UK systems, while having their own unique strengths, they are burdened by inefficiencies and inequalities that China's system seems better equipped to handle. So healthcare will always be an issue of utmost importance. So any lessons we can learn from another country doing better than us is incredibly beneficial. So hopefully we can take a thing or two from China's approach, take a lesson or two and implement it into our own systems. Thanks for watching. If you learned something, make sure you hit the subscribe button and I'll catch you in the next video.